Episode 6 through 8 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is out, and what did I think about it? Do I truly think this has finally changed? Has Reddit changed my mind with episode 7 saying that it is the peak and it changed the Spider-Man series?
Absolutely not.
This series is now become frustrating. Not even frustrating, upsetting, because it is nothing but boring exposition. It doesn't follow the character. It is exactly the same problems I had with Batman the Caped Crusader. So before I get into that, I'm going to first break down each one of these episodes and then explain why exactly I did not like these 3 episodes. Episode 6 is the episode with Daredevil. So basically it's a cameo with Daredevil. Charlie Cox voices Daredevil as Peter and his friends are hanging out. They're trying to get close, trying to bond with Harry being the third person. And slowly but surely, Nico and Harry are bonding until Harry reveals that basically Peter is Spider-Man. Once Nico finds out after all the jazz that went down with Spider-Man and Daredevil, basically Daredevil explains to Spider-Man that he doesn't know everything about the situation. Nico gets upset and leaves. So we are entering now more of the mystery territory because now Daredevil is revealing to Spider-Man that Norman is not somebody that seems all up and up. And more or less that Norman is trying to make Spider-Man into the best hero he could possibly be. Like I kind of figured he was going to. He's going to try to push him to be better. But eventually, I bet you that at the end of the series, the ties between Norman and Peter will be severed, and we'll go from there. Episode 7 is the peak episode that everybody claims. Where basically now we're going to follow Lonnie because we cannot find an episode that doesn't deal with just Lonnie's story in any shape, form, or way. And we're now dealing with the Scorpions and the one-on-one. Scorpion gets his new technology from Doc Ock, and now he's going to wreak havoc, killing people, and he fights Spider-Man. Doc Ock gets caught by General Ross and Iron Man because, of course, everything has to be connected. And so Spider-Man and Scorpion fight. Spider-Man runs out of web, gets himself injured, and then he is more or less taken out of the fray, and that's the end of the episode. Oh, the Goblin Guy makes an appearance, and yeah, so that's episode 7. And then episode 8 is basically Peter Parker trying to come to terms with whether or not should he hang up being Spider-Man. Is he the best fit for the hero? Only for it to be solved at the very end. Yes, he is the best fit to be the hero because he gets a little pep talk from Harry, and he's just better now. This is actually one thing I will give credit where credit is due. Aunt May actually is being influential in this compared to other versions, especially in the No Way Home, the Homecoming trilogy. She's more of a figure in his life, even though she's not even in this series hardly. So I don't know. This is just, it is what it is. Peter and Nico still aren't talking, even though Harry and Nico kind of squashed things. She, for whatever strange reason, can't forgive Peter, though, but she can forgive Harry. It's dumb, it's stupid, the writing is not great, and that's kind of what I'm going to come to at the end of my explanation here. So Peter goes to talk to Norman, which he gives him this line where great power must come great respect, and it's stupid because, like I said, it's only solidifying that my point is that eventually that Norman and Peter are going to sever ties by the end of the series. Nevertheless, if I'm wrong in that, I'll be shocked. But I really can tell that this how telegraphed this is being. And then at the very end, Harry gives him a little bit more of a pet talk, and then he gets the red and blue Spider-Man suit. We don't see it because, of course, we're going to see that in episode 9 through 11. So what are my thoughts on all these 3 episodes? I was so upset by episode 8. And I'm not even kidding you. I was literally upset by episode 8. Lonnie has more of an interesting story than Peter. Yes, Peter took a loss. Okay, we can put that together. Peter took a loss. But Lonnie has a more interesting backstory, and their focus has been more on Lonnie than it has been on Peter.
Are you serious?
This Peter has it on Easy Street. I'm sorry. He does. Oh, because he lost. And now Nico won't talk to him. It's not. I get it. He's supposed to be a teenager. You know, teenagers deal with that kind of stuff. But you're smoking crack if you're. I'm being 100% serious. I can respect people's opinions. I can respect people, but like people that I saw on Reddit were just like, dude, this is like the greatest series ever. And I'm like, has the bar been lowered that much where we're now saying the most mediocre things are the best things? What I'm kind of saying in this clip here is that there is no payoff. Like, if you're trying to make me feel sorry for this character, you're trying to make me feel sorry for Peter Parker, you gotta let me see him fail throughout the series, where he's not making it on time to appointments, where he's not making it to certain places, where he's not making friends, where he's just failing everything in his life until that point, to finally have him break down like that. I'm sorry. That scene was not earned. You can try to get upset at me all you want. You can say, well, you clearly you're missing on episode 7, which episode 7, once again, it focuses so much on Lonnie that I don't get a chance to really see what Peter is going through. And in the end, Peter saved the day, even though he's blaming himself for not saving the day, which doesn't make any sense. He saves the day. He only person that got really, really, really badly hurt was one other gang member and Peter. Past that, everybody got out of there with some bruises and some scratches, but everybody else got out of there. The story has been about Lonnie Lincoln. Let's go back to what I was saying about the previous episodes. When any kind of conflict meets Peter, it's solved either magically or off screen. So I don't know what's exactly going on with Peter and his life. In fact, I don't understand what is going on with Peter and his life. We're not being given anything. It's the and then storytelling.
And then?
So in the end, this series has just been 8 episodes of telling me every other side story plot. Episode 8 is another great example of this as well, not episode 8. Episode 7 is another great example of this. It focuses on Nico and Harry, Lonnie and Pearl. And then episode 8, we're focusing once again, we're kind of focusing on Peter because they try to make this more of a Peter-centric episode. But the scene that really bugged me when he broke down to Aunt May, because once again, just like in the MCU Spider-Man, it's not earned because we're so focused on everything else that we don't really focus on what exactly Peter is going through. And don't tell me just because episode 7, because he lost that fight, that's the reason why we have this emotional breakdown. No, you should show me, okay, when he's in his novice years of being Spider-Man, the first couple of months he did something that he wasn't able to save somebody, or he wasn't able to do something that was, he has been able to save and stop every criminal that has come his way. Now, I can understand if he got really cocky and he was like, I got this. And this episode 7 was a life lesson episode where he was like, oh, dude, you can't get cocky like this. You know, you can't be, doing this, and then he gets really messed up in that fight. No, in fact, he did everything right in that fight. Everything he did was completely in the right. So when he comes down and breaks down like that, it pissed me off because it was like, this is not earned. This scene is not earned because all I have seen him do is be successful. For him all of a sudden to be like, oh man, because Nico and everything else, but everybody else loves him. In fact, in this episode, in episode 8, they show him continue to win. His science project that he's working with Doc Connors magically works. We don't even see it get built. We don't understand. We just he gets down and he sees Doc Connors and the rest of the gang, and his project works. Everything goes great for now. What they could have done is if he came down and his project didn't work. Oh man, you missed the calculation. Like, he is a Gary Stu. I'm sorry. This one little bump in the road is not enough for me to go, man, damn, this really gave me some depth with Spider-Man. It's the same argument I have with Ray Palpatine. It's the same thing when people are like, well, she kind of lost in episode 8. And I'm like, it doesn't matter because she's successful at the very end. She lost, sure, but at the very end, she moved all the boulders with the Force. So it didn't, where's the lesson? Where's the lesson? I'm sorry, this is really just upsetting me. I keep saying this, the bar for entertainment is on the ground. There is no lesson to be had or learned here. Spider-Man, Norman Osborn says this line that, you gotta be the best, blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, where has he messed up? Where has he messed up where it was like, oh man, he wasn't being the best there. He was being so full of himself or so cowardly. Every challenge he's met face on and head on and done the best he's could, and he's been successful. So I'm like, I'm confused. So what do you mean that he's not being the best Spider-Man? What do you mean by that? It's a lot of just trying to make us feel sorry for this character when there's nothing to feel sorry for this character for. And that's what he is. He is the equivalent to Ray Palpatine from the Star Wars movies. He is literally a character that everything goes right for him. Nothing does go wrong for him. I'm telling you, by episode 9 through 11, him and Nico are going to be cool. It's stupid, and especially with the Nico thing. What really bothers me about this, and it's been bothering me about this since the incident with Amber from Invincible, is this weird thing that has been in cartoons, in comic books lately, that it's really wrong to hide your secret identity from people. And I find that very, very, very puzzling, because if you play by the logic of this show, him and Nico have been friends only for 6 months. 6 months, okay? So why in the world is he gonna go tell his friend this thing that could get her in, danger, or could get her hurt, And she has I'm talking zero rights to be angry about that. Because I'm telling you, if she knew about it, she would be probably a burden and get in his way rather than be somebody that could be helpful to him. I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but that's the problem with this show. This show does not give me anything to care about Peter Parker. Nothing to care about Peter Parker. I didn't even flinch when he got stabbed. I was like, this is telegraphed. As soon as the iron girder fell on him, I was like, watch this. He's probably gonna get stabbed. And sure the hell enough, he got stabbed. I'm pissed, because that could have been more of an epic showdown if you didn't focus on the fucking side characters. That could have been way more of a bigger payoff if you didn't focus on Harry and Nico's story and Lonnie and Pearl's story. If you just made this a Peter-centric episode, this episode would have been the best episode. Does it have good elements? Sure. But you focused on everybody else and then gave me a little bit of time to focus on Peter. This is how pathetic the writing is for this show. I've basically pinpointed a lot of the things that are going to happen before they happened, because they're trying to get it done as soon as possible. Once again, I don't consider this show woke. I don't like the gender bends. I've already said that before. I don't like some of the philosophy that is preached. But I cannot state this enough, how frustrating this show has become, and is starting to piss me off.
You've really pissed me off.
This Spider-Man faces no adversity. Everything is handed to him. He gets a suit, the Future Foundation suit is basically busted up, it's broken. And at the end of the episode, guess what he gets? He gets the red and blue Spider-Man suit. And I'm like, are we serious? Are we serious? That's how, oh my gosh, this is how it goes? Just magically made by Harry Osborn from just, solidifying the whole Iron Boy Jr. from the MCU, but now for Oscorp. And people were like, oh, well, I don't mind this, but because he if not facing adversity, it makes it all the, better. No, it makes him a boring character. It makes him a character with zero agency, because if you actually watch this series, he doesn't have a call to action. He doesn't have a reason to be Spider-Man. You really think about it, even with the prequel comics, which I've read, it now makes me go, okay, why are you exactly Spider-Man? Because you can't just be like, I'm a good person, I'm Spider-Man. What made Peter Parker so relatable in the comic books or the movies or the other animated series, least spectacular Spider-Man compared to the Disney XD show, is that he is a teenager. And guess what? Teenagers are sometimes the most in-your-face people you will ever meet. This guy is milquetoast. That's not the only issue I have with this character. Like, at least with somebody like Midoriya. Let's take My Hero Academia. He has the will and the drive to be a hero because he sees other heroes, but he can't be a hero just yet until All Might gives him his hair. And then afterwards, he starts building his character, but he still fails. He wins some battles, but he fails. And that's what makes Midoriya an interesting character until, arguably the later seasons we can make an argument. But that's what makes Midoriya an interesting character to follow, because there's peaks and valleys to his character. Yes, he has a good soul, but he has to struggle to make sure he's balancing those feelings to not cross into something that he would regret later, like he does in the war arc in the later part of the My Hero Academia series. Peter doesn't have that. Peter is not that character, especially since they are focusing so heavily on every other character besides Peter. He is just a tool to push the plot forward. That's it. It's not even a tool to push the plot forward. He's just kind of just there, and then they're like, oh man, we need a Spider-Man action scene. Okay, Peter, we need Peter to go to this location at this time at this place. Okay, yeah, that'll be great. Okay. Oh, this was something that really bugs me. While we're gonna talk, have this epic seventh episode of the Spider-Man show, we're not gonna focus on Peter. We're gonna focus on everybody else around him besides Peter. We're going to focus on Lonnie and Pearl. We're going to focus on Harry and Nico. We're going to focus on everybody else besides him, except for the last couple of minutes. We're going to really show some action and everything. And then he gets hurt, and the next episode he's questioning himself, and then he gets, oh my gosh. This is frustrating to watch because it is a lot of things that are not earned. It's a lot of things that it's just an and then kind of storytelling. He doesn't have his own drive. He doesn't have his own motivation. It just feels like I'm just watching a Disney Channel show. And you can make the excuse, well, it's reading for kids. Kids deserve better. I'm so sick and tired of people saying that. Did you say that with Batman the Animated Series? How about the Spectacular Spider-Man, The Batman Show, Justice League? How about Thundercats, G.I. Joe, Transformers? How about any of those shows that I just listed, and plethora of other shows that have come out? Did you say the same thing with those shows that you're going to say with this show? Stop it. Keep the same energy across the board, because those shows could entertain not only children but older audiences. And I am so sick of people using that argument. I saw that argument a couple of times on Reddit, the place where I keep forgetting film criticism is so stupid to follow on Reddit, because people, if you just don't immediately suck up the gravy of the current hot thing, then you're just downvoted into oblivion. Trust me. It's just mind-blowing how people are giving the show a pass. And it's right now, I think, a 6.5 on IMDb, and I think it is a 64-65 on Rotten Tomatoes with a 3.2 on the Google reviews. Because once again, I'm not gonna take the 5s, and I'm not gonna take the one-star reviews. Fuck that. I'm gonna take the middle reviews, and I've seen a lot of people talk about it in the middle, and I have to agree with them. this show is not good. It has been 8 episodes, and I feel absolutely nothing for any of these characters because I don't care about their journeys, because I knew Lonnie was going to turn to the dark side, because of course he was going to turn to the dark side. And the thing is, it is really stupid why he's turning to the dark side. It's not just because he's turning to the dark side because he respects the gang. It's just he's turning to the dark side because he got in a fight with the Scorpions. I'm telling you, you watch the series, especially up to this point, it is just like a switch. All of a sudden, he's now a bad guy. It is like, it doesn't make any sense on why he became a bad guy. It's the same thing with how they're showing certain things that's going on in Peter's life. He's saying that he's going through all these troubles, but we have not seen all these troubles. He lost to the Scorpion and he lost Nico. And once again, that's going to probably be resolved in the next week's 3 episodes. Okay. What else has he lost? He's been able to continue to do good in school. He's able to make it on to every one of his classes. He's able to do good with his grades. I know I'm keep repeating the school part, but you see what I'm talking about? I have nothing to really focus on. He's able to make his appointments. He's able to have people cover for him. It's like, what is this Peter face that he was so heartbroken and torn up by episode 8? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The scene was not deserved. It was absolute horseshit. It was a bad scene. It was awful. Once again, if I was, skipping through the series, maybe you guys could get me on something. But rewatching episode 1 through 8 before I did this, yeah, I am absolutely on point when I'm saying this show is offering me nothing to really make me feel sorry for Peter at that moment. It was a stupid scene that decided to try to pull at my heartstrings, and it didn't work. I didn't. This is the second time, funny enough, this is actually the second time something that the MCU has tried to make me feel emotional for Spider-Man. The first time, this is the third time. The first time was when he was crying about Tony in Far From Home. I didn't care at that scene. The reason why, because the whole scene was just the whole movie was just basically him trying to hook up with MJ, and so I was just like, wow, okay, now we're gonna shove this emotional stuff. We couldn't have had that PTSD stuff throughout the film where he puts on the Spider-Man suit and maybe you saw a flashback of Tony. No, they're just like, oh, we're gonna shove it at the very end. Okay. When Aunt May died, because Aunt May is not a character throughout the Homecoming movies. She's just not. She's just I'm the cool aunt, cool, in episode 8 of this series, where one of those things where I feel disgusted, because it's just like, how dare you put this scene in this show when this kid has not faced that much. The whole Nico thing is stupid, and I don't like this new whole thing where all of a sudden secret identities are problematic now. I don't like that. It's stupid. I hate it. And secondly, okay, he lost, but that's not enough to make me go, oh man, I should really feel sorry for this kid. And when he's like, I gotta protect everyone. What are you talking about? You saved the day in episode 7. Like, rewatching episode 7, I was like, he literally saves everyone except for one dude. One dude he didn't save. Everybody else he saved that was of importance in the one-on-one gang. What is he talking about saving everyone? He has saved every single person throughout the entire series. I'm sorry, guys. I don't like to get this heated, but this is poor writing.
Well, that's just lazy writing.
This is just absolutely infuriating. Okay, but just like this whole premise of Peter, like all of a sudden he's like, I gotta save everyone. I'm sorry, you did not deserve this scene. This scene is not earned. This scene is not well paced. This scene is it's so pathetic. And I'm glad more and more people are slowly starting to come out and talk about this series and say, yeah, this is not that great. It's really not. Usually it's blowing up everywhere like, oh, how great this is. No, a lot more people are like, yeah, this series is not that great. So I'm going to end it here because I've been ranting for a little bit and I can't state this enough. I really wish they just continued Spectacular Spider-Man. This is not it. This really isn't the show. I don't understand where people are sitting here and saying that this is the best animated Spider-Man show. It's not. It is horrible to look at. And even with rewatching all 8 episodes, it is really actually kind of draining and painful to look at. The cell shading, staggering, turning scenes and everything. The streets of New York still empty. Don't understand that. It's just not that great. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later. Oh, I forgot to add this. So Iron Man is wearing his comic book suit, but Steve Rogers is wearing his MCU suit. So what is the continuity with this? Like, this makes no sense. Come on. This is how she found out. Wow. This is stupid.